Well, while someone don't see the violation under the Geneva Convention and the genocide of other nations, we begin our news for the last week at Yakovlev's Twins channel. Last week, the self-proclaimed president of Belarus, dictator Lukashenko, traveled to China and begged for the help for Russian Federation in the war against Ukraine. This week, he arrived with an official visit to Iran. As a result, Iran and Belarus signed a roadmap of cooperation between those countries until 2026, which provides for comprehensive cooperation in political, economic, consular, scientific and technical points, and also in education, culture, mass media, and even tourism. Also, according to Reuters, Chinese President Xi Jinping plans to visit Moscow in the coming weeks. And allegedly, plans for this meeting appeared after China offered mediation in this peaceful plan for Ukraine that actually was written by Russians. And we already saw that China isn't stable in their position about what side they should choose. And now an interesting picture emerges. Cooperation of countries according to interest of dictatorship and even in some cases of terrorism. Well, but also, according to Wall Street Journal, Xi Jinping plans to hold an online meeting with President Zelensky, and this actually will be the first meeting of the presidents since the beginning of the war. And now it's official. And according to New York Times, 2 Russian aircrafts were flying in Black Sea international waters, and one of them deliberately leaked fuel in front of American drone, damaging its propeller while trying to disable its sensors. And this forces the United States to shoot down the drone in the Black Sea waters so that it doesn't fall into the hand of Russians. On March 16, a new Ramstein meeting was held, and previously the Minister of Defense of Ukraine stated that together with the 10 coalition, naval coalition has already started. And as a result of this tense Ramstein meeting, Sweden will supply Ukraine Leopard tanks and key air defense components. Also, Spain will transfer to Ukraine Leopard tanks. And Norway, in partnership with the United States, also will provide an NSM system. And many other military help was announced. But actually, it was just an official part. Yeah, as we know that there's also private, non-official meetings where also some military aid points discussed. Russia is preparing for our offensive. New satellite imagery shows that Russian troops have stepped up the construction of fortifications in the temporarily occupied regions of Ukraine, especially in Melitopol and Azov Sea directions, because then the Crimea Bridge will be under the threat. At the same time, according to Reuters, allegedly referring to the Ukrainian fighter, occupiers have changed the direction of the offensive and intend to move toward to Liman. Also, there is information that Russian Defense Ministry plans to recruit another 400,000 contract soldiers. Yeah, the year of the war. According to Russians, of course, the operation is under control. Everything is fine. And now I would like to point out, statement that culture is beyond politics is false. And one who thinks so are really short-sighted people. Navalny's doc won the Oscar award as Best Documentary. And of course, it was discussed in the context of the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. And it is glorified as an anti-war epic. And yeah, this documentary is well made to be convincing enough. But the subject of the documentary and the context of the Oscar are a little odds with each other. Navalny is a well-known leader of the Russian opposition, whom Western liberals consider as an attractive alternative to Putin and his cronies. And this will be a really big problem if Putin and his minions were the only one problems with Russia. But like the most Russian politicians, Navalny has experience in promoting Russian nationalism and imperialism. For example, in 2014, he declared his support for the illegal annexation of Ukrainian Crimea.
Крым – это что, бутерброд с колбасой, чтобы вот туда-сюда возвращать. И украинцам я сильно советую не обманывать тоже себя. Он останется частью России и больше никогда в обозримом будущем не станет частью Украины.
And in 2008, he wrote some posts in his blog enthusiastically praising Russia's invasion of Georgia. Moreover, Navalny made disparaging statements about Georgians and also used ethnic insults against Ukrainians. All this explains why we Ukrainians are so angry and wavy about the Navalny fever in the Western world. Even as Navalny and his team have heavily capitalized on Western negative reaction to the invasion of Ukraine with a sleek advertising campaign to free Navalny, all it managed to do was divert hundreds of thousands of dollars, which could have gone to help the war effort in Ukraine, to a Russian politician with political aspiration inside of Russia. And now this win also came as the Oscar denied a request of President Volodymyr Zelensky to address the Oscar audience, deeming that it was too political. A year ago, Russia Federation deliberately and brutally dropped a super powerful bomb on the drama theater in the center of Mariupol, city in the south of Ukraine. Next to the building was the inscription, "Children," which was impossible not to notice. And Russians have known that. They know that hundreds of people were hiding there from missiles and shelling. We all know and believe that every Russian will suffer punishment.
Последствия обстрелов драмтеатров. Ракета попала прямо в центр драмтеатра. Сейчас люди пытаются эвакуироваться.